Welcome back to the Starters. Topic we've wanted to get to for a little while now, so let's get to it right now. About a week ago, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald broke the news that Wade and the Heat were far apart in negotiating the financial terms of their future together. Now, technically, there cannot really be an official negotiation until July 1st, and after Wade decides whether he's going to opt in or opt out of his $16 million contract for the 15-16 season. But, you know, this is common for NBA teams to start talking about this, having conversations, and I guess, you know, these rumors, these conversations leaked to the Miami Herald and to other sources. What do you guys think with Dwyane Wade? Do you think he will opt into the $16 million contract or opt out? What do you think he should do?
I really, really hope there's a little opt-out, and they negotiate that 3-year window. But he's asking for $20 million per year. I find that very difficult for
His sources say that, yeah.
Yeah, I find it very difficult for a guy to request that who's only playing 3/4 of the season. I mean, he had a very healthy year last year, it felt like, and he played 62 games.
Yeah.
So you can ask that from this franchise because you've done so much for them. But I think if you're only going to play 3/4 of a season, then you're going to get 3/4 of the dollar amount. So let's say 15. Let's call it at 15.
Right.
I mean, you asked for 20, but you're not going to play 82 games. We know that. He hasn't played more than 70 in 5 seasons.
And his body maintenance schedule, you don't think is going to change.
No.
We're going to say we're going to try to get you to 82. You figure he's going to stay around that same mark.
Yeah, what's interesting, though, is Dwyane Wade, he has taken a pay cut twice before to help this organization out.
For sure.
To bring in guys, to bring in free agents, and to make a great franchise and a great team, which they've obviously had a whole bunch of success there, going to all those finals and winning 2 titles. You know, so he thinks, I feel, like, hey, I did you a favor.
Yeah.
All right? I took less money in my prime, okay, whether or not I was a banged-up player and an injured player at times, okay. But I was still fairly young. He's only going into his 13th season. Now you do me a solid. Now where's my money?
But he is an old 33.
Well,
he's 33 years of age, and we know next year he's going to be 34 in the midseason. And maybe he knows that. Maybe he knows how many more paydays do I have. And obviously, the franchise owes a lot to him. Well, let's make that clear.
I mean, he's won 3 championships with them, though, and he gave up that money, and it was worth it because they won the title.
Right.
Twice with LeBron, and they were there 4 times. So if I'm the franchise, they say, well, the sacrifice you made financially was worth it because you won. But I look at him and I think he's a proven big-time player. We know that in the playoffs he's great. And he still could provide a lot of value to a team. And I think this stage of his career, because he has got a lot of miles on those legs, he should look at taking a Paul Pierce-type role for the Washington Wizards. You know, being a guy who isn't the focal point of the team, but will still be expected to deliver a lot in the playoffs. And he has to understand that if that's your role, then financially you have to take a little bit less money. It will allow the team then to chase another big-name free agent.
Now, let's be clear. The Miami Heat, in theory, they want him to opt in. They want him to be on the books for $16 million, and then we'll negotiate in the next contract because they've got Goran Dragic, who is unrestricted free agent. In a year's time, they've got to figure out what to do with Hassan Whiteside, and, you know, they got at least another year to figure that out.
And they need some salary cap room for him because of the circumstances there.
That's exactly right. And, you know, you're Pat Riley, you are the Heat, and Mickey Arison there, the owner. Like, this is a squad that they want to build winners. This is not a team that cares about making the playoffs.
No.
They want rings. They want titles. So that means going after, in theory, another big name in 2016. Like who? Oh, maybe a guy like Kevin Durant, who will be an unrestricted free agent around that time.
Yeah, and that's the way I think Dwyane Wade has to look at it. Would you rather get paid a lot of money, or would you maybe have the opportunity to play with someone like Kevin Durant and again be competing for a championship? Because I don't think you can have both in this proposed scenario where he wants all this money. I think the situation has to be that Kevin Durant, whatever he decides, he's going to sign for the team that he feels is in the strongest position to win a championship, whether that's Oklahoma City or whoever, we'll find out. But the point I'm trying to make is that Dwyane Wade has been a fantastic player. He's been loyal to the organisation. They've, in turn, given him a great opportunity to win. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And the Miami Heat have to keep thinking. They can't get too nostalgic. If Dwyane can't perform for them throughout the course of the season as they expect him to, then they have to look for other players to come in to keep them competing for championships.
I think Dwyane Wade looks at LeBron's situation. He's been in Miami his entire career. You look at LeBron, obviously bounced around now. Isn't there a part of him that wants to be a Miami Heat lifer?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think there's a big part of that. And yeah, there might be a bigger paycheck somewhere else, you know, offering him, you know, larger money over a 2 to 3 year period. Because I don't think anyone's, you know, making a 4-year offer to Wade at this point of his career. But yeah, I totally feel like you got to take a bit less money so that your team can go out and get somebody to help you get a little bit closer.
He already has taken less money. is what I go back to. He's done them the favor.
Yeah.
And I know you're saying it worked out. It did. He got titles. He got more popular.
Would you rather another $10 million or not those chances?
Well, I would rather, I think, if I say, hey, I'll do you a favor, you do me a favor later. And I'm not saying like the Kobe Bryant type lifetime achievement, contract here. I'm not getting at that. I think what he's asking for, yes, he's injured a lot of the time and he's fallen off a little bit in terms of production. But he's not asking for a crazy amount. Because some people will say...
It's getting close to the Kobe contract.
Some people will say, well, look, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, those guys took lesser money, despite still being great talents, like Dwyane Wade, still being able to put up great numbers, be all-stars, be on all defensive teams in Duncan's case and so on. But the difference is, Dirk and Duncan, they did it later in their career.
Yeah.
Okay? They didn't do it when they were in their sort of 13, 14, 15th season. They were still getting paid $20, $19, $18 million throughout those years. That's where Wade, I think, is comparing himself to them and saying, well, first off, I already did what they're now doing. I did it earlier in my career, sort of more in my prime.
He can opt in for $16 million. I mean, it's not that far off.
Look, I would love $16 million. I understand.
It's actually, is it 16.5?
It's 16.1, I think.
Let's round up.
Yeah, sure.
The thing is, though, Tim Duncan, I mean, he still plays. I know they rest him, but he still plays in a higher percentage of games than Dwyane Wade plays at his age still. And again, I think it comes back to Tim Duncan sacrificed that money. But look, they won the championship last year. They were in the finals the year before. This year, obviously, didn't go as well for them. But the San Antonio Spurs next season are going to be one of the top teams still in the West because of the way everyone, Tony Parker sacrifices, Manu Ginobili sacrifices, Kawhi Leonard, that's the big question for them, of course, because he's got that max deal and how that will affect them going forward. But Wade is a proven competitor, a proven champion in this league, but he's now at a different stage of his career where he's no longer the guy you build around.
You wonder how much the Dragic move, where they pick him up at the trade deadline, sort of maybe ruined initial plans, initial conversations between Wade and the Heat. Like, maybe there was when he signed the 2-year deal, right?
Yeah,
with the player option.
Right.
And you wonder if, okay, I'll opt out in the second year. Maybe you'll give me a first-year front-loaded contract, something big, $20 million plus, and then some sort of flexibility or lesser contracts in the year 2 or 3, so to help you guys get free agents and to rebuild this team. And if that sort of got turned on its head when they made the move for Dragic, who is now, he'll be looking at near max money.
Yeah.
And then maybe that comes into play, and of course, Dang in all these situations.
Yeah, but Wade signed last season. I mean, he only signed a year ago, so I'm not sure what he expects out of this situation. I think it would be smart for him to take the $16 million. Then, the cap bumps up, and if you're still healthy, that's
maybe
where
you get another
you can make
He'll
some money.
have no short of offers. Exactly how much they'll be, probably not quite what he wants, but he'll have a lot of teams wanting to come and play on their team.
And I think he's learned. You said that maintenance plan. He's learned how to take care of his body.